So I am live. I've never gone live on YouTube in this format before. So this is new to me because I'm using my phone right now, not my computer, because yeah, my computer's camera is just not it. It's just not it. Um, but yeah, I know this is not my usual time to even post anything, but hi guys, this is Chanella. And I wanted to come on and just have a quick chat with you guys. Even though I'm planning to upload a vlog and every a vlog soon, but I really wanted to kind of have like a candid just conversation. And you guys can watch this whenever you get the chance to. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of new to YouTube's uh, live stream via phone. So bear with me if I look like an idiot. I promise I'm not an idiot. But yeah, I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about rising above your struggles because I mean, I know personally this is something that I have dealt with time and time and time again. um, and not just financial struggles, not just physical struggles, but also spiritual struggles. And I guess I just wanted to come on and kind of encourage you guys using like my own story and also like the word as well. um and I guess I want to start. This was kind of like inspired because last night I was talking with somebody and just talking about the idea of loving God. I feel like a lot of times we think like loving God is just how we feel. We have a worship session and we're like, yes, Lord, my heart is filled with so much love for you. But really and truly, when you really think about it, loving God is about obeying his word. And one of the greatest struggles we have as Christians and as human beings is doing that, obeying his word. um, and when that becomes a continual struggle now, then you start dealing with something called condemnation, and then it continues into this whole rabbit hole where you just feel worse and worse and worse about yourself. um, and so I wanted to come on and just encourage you guys regarding that, rising above your struggles spiritually. I'll also touch on rising above your struggles physically as well, but that in particular as well is super important. Shanna says, yes, I read that in John 15 yesterday. Yes, nice, good. And I actually glimpsed the book of James as well this morning, which was talking about tribulations and trials that we go through and everything, and how that can work out for our good. So I mean, there's so many different areas to touch on when it comes on to struggles, but in the spiritual sense of it, guys, I want you to remember the book of Ephesians talks about this. And I have it here with me, particularly chapter 6 talks about being strong in the Lord, being strong in his mighty power. And why is that? It's because a lot of times we are not fighting against flesh and blood. We're not fighting against things that we see, where there's spiritual forces, there's principalities in this world that fight against us as God's children. And a lot of times when we're dealing with spiritual struggles, we tend to forget this. We tend to forget that we can't fight these battles the same way we would fight a financial battle, in terms of getting the wisdom and putting this there and whatnot. When it comes on to spiritual battles, you have to fight back in the spirit. Did you guys just hear my phone notification? I don't know how this whole live thing work when you're using a phone. So let me just try to put it on silent. But yeah, so when you're fighting spiritual battles, you can't approach it the same way you would do other things in your life. You have to use the word of God to fight back. You have to go out in prayer. As Ephesians says, put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Remember, the enemy's plan is to kill, steal, and destroy. So if him can get inside of your brain, if him can get inside of your spirit to tear you down, either with condemnation or demonic attacks or all these different things, that's his will. That's what he wants to do. But God is saying here in his word that you need to put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against these things when it comes on to spiritual struggles. You can't just get up like any little willy penny, every single day. I'm like, oh Jesus, help me, Lord. You have to fight through, because the enemy is not going to stop until he has his way. He's not going to stop. So putting on the full armor of God is going to be very crucial. And I can't sit here and tell you that this is something that I've walked through and done consistently. There are going to be times where you fall off the path. You're not putting on the full armor of God. You're not praying as much. You're not reading the word as much. You're not guarding your eyes and your ear gates as much. And so things come at you and it feels like it kick you over. But what do you do when you fall? Do you remain fallen, or are you going to stand back up? And that's the key right there. So although we know that loving God means obeying his word, it doesn't mean that just because you buck your foot and you fall, then either God don't love you or maybe you don't love God, because there's also the heart posture behind of it as well. So you see how everything is kind of balanced. Super important. So let me just continue reading this particular chapter of Ephesians, just so you can have it for reference. And this is chapter 6, verse 10 to, I'm gonna say 10 to 18. And it says, finally be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand. Stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. Y'all only get a whole blueprint. It's a whole strategy. It's a whole map to fighting spiritual struggles. Putting on the breastplate of truth and running with the peace and readiness that comes with the gospel. Praying in the Spirit on all occasions. So not just when things are going good, not just when things are going bad, I should say, but also when things are going good. Even when you feel like you're not going through anything. And you see those little things, those little issues, those little problems that you tend to not pray about, that you feel that you kind of walk away and like, oh, it's nothing. You better watch them something there, because those little things are oftentimes the ones that comes out and just explode into something massive. And don't believe that God doesn't care about the little things. Just this morning, I was thinking about that, how much God cares about the little things. I mean, when I really meant it, think about it. God knows how many strands of hair is on your head. I mean, you would wonder, like, okay, God, but why is that important to you, though? Like, I mean, you're running a whole world. You're the creator, king of all kings, lord of all lords. Like, why do you need to know how many strands of hair is on my head? It's because God cares about the details. He cares about the little things. So please pray in the Spirit on all occasions, with all kinds of prayers and requests. Um, so now that we touched a little bit on, fighting spiritual struggles, I want to also talk about fighting natural struggles, because a lot of times it's the natural struggles that causes us to stumble in our spiritual walk. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all go through things. And as we live this life and have our different desires, that will affect our relationship with God. Not everybody was born, blessed with inheritance from, their parents. I myself is one of those persons. If you've been watching my channel for a while, then you would know of my story. I've shared it time and time again of, fighting through generational poverty and going through all these different situations in life that was, I didn't bring it upon myself. It's kind of just like what I was born into. And to be honest, over the years, I've kind of gotten to this place in my life where I don't blame my parents for my struggles anymore. I don't sit down and think about, oh, if my parents didn't do this or if my parents did that, then I would be in a better place and whatnot. There might be some truth to that, that maybe if they had certain things in place, then my life would have been better. However, I do not sit down and play the blame game, because I personally believe that yes, you may grow up in a particular way and didn't walk into what you wish you had walked in, what you want to walk into, as how other people have. But at the end of the day, when you become an adult, are you going to continue to spend your life blaming your parents for your life? Like, so your parents didn't help you to get through high school. You're an adult now. How are you going to fix that? How are you going to improve yourself? Are you going to sit down and just blame them because they didn't make you go through high school? And that's kind of the mentality I've taken on in terms of when it comes on to natural struggles and just the reality of my life. It doesn't make sense to sit down and dwell on the what ifs and the could have and the blame game, and if only my father did this and if only my mother did this, then my life would have been this. Because at the end of the day, you're an adult now. You're responsible for yourself. And so first, I just wanted to put that preface there and that disclaimer there, that is a mentality you need to have when it comes on to facing, natural struggles, whether it's financially, whether it's with your educational journey, things like that. I know, and take everything that I say in context, please, because I know people are dealing with very real things and very real situations. And not everything, this advice won't necessarily can be applied to every single situation that you're dealing with. But when it comes on to the financial aspect of rising above the struggle, rising above generational poverty, I want you to always think about how you can make yourself better. We live in a world today where access to information has never been more available than before. Like when you look at history, when you look at, years back, what we have, our parents didn't have it. I mean, you hear some people may say YouTube is like the free university. And the truth is, a part of the mechanisms I've put in place in terms of trying to rise above my own struggle of generational poverty is trying to learn more and trying to create that opportunity in the market space for myself. So I've been privileged enough where I could finish university. But if that's not you, I want you to get to this place where you start seeking out the mechanisms to improve yourself. So if you live in Jamaica, then you should be aware that Heart will, I think it was effective April 1. If not April 1, then probably June. But I think it's April 1, where Heart, for courses in Heart up to level 4, you can actually pursue these certifications for free. For free. Meaning you can become certified into something, a skill or trade, for free. That's an open door right there. That's you. If you take on that opportunity, that's you walking towards rising above your struggle. That's you making a practical move to rising above your struggle. Now, if you say, Chanel, heart doesn't really have anything that appeals to me, I'm gonna say, okay, well, what are some of the things that appeals to you? A practical example is, for me, I love media, everything media, communications, journalism, the whole lot. But more so, I realized that I love digital. And so what I've done is that I started looking for different, job opportunities regarding the digital space. And that led me to social media marketing. If you follow me on my business page at Christian Content Creator, then you'll know that I have a Christian social media agency. And what I do is that I support Christian businesses digitally through social media marketing and other little avenues in that space. And how did I get there? I didn't just get up and just use my degree in journalism. Journalism don't really have anything to do with digital. It's a whole different space. But what I did was that I became certified using HubSpot. HubSpot is a free certification course that speaks to everything regarding digital. And I learned about HubSpot in my Google searching of how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that, to where it gets to the point where now I can do this on the side as an additional stream of income. Now, when it comes on, so what I'm trying to explain to you guys is when you're trying to rise above the struggle, financially especially, you have to put in the work, and you have to put yourself in a position with a mindset to learn and to work for what you want. Because how the world works is that it's not just gonna fall into your hand like that. It's not. And that's just the reality of life. And it's not easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, then we wouldn't have all the chaos and situation that goes on in today's world. No, if it was easy, you just have to want it enough to where you'll work for it, even when it's not the most ideal situation. But it all starts from your mindset. It all starts from how you perceive the situation. You have to want it. You have to tell yourself, say, come hell or high water, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to keep going. It's not going to always work out in your favor. You're not going to always, achieve what you want. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to keep pushing for this, then one day you must make it. You must make it one day. You must make it. And you know why you must make it one day? The more you persevere is because when you think about principles from the book of James, when it talks about consider it as joy, brethren, when you go through trials and tribulations of all kind. What is the reasons for him telling you to consider it as joy? Because when you go through situations, it makes you stronger. It helps boost your faith. It builds your confidence in God, because you realize that, God, you carried me through that situation before, so you must can carry me through this one. And it also gives you wisdom. It's like when you learn how to not do something. That's really what it is. Learning how to not do something. But the point I'm trying to say is that you won't always have people in your life to push you the way you wish they would. Your parents won't always be able to kind of provide the support that you want the way you wish they would. At the end of the day, it's just you and God. And you have to make up in your mind that you're going to come through, that you're going to push through. No matter the struggle, no matter how hard it is, no matter, just everything that comes along with the territory. You really, really, really have to push through, guys. And you do so, at least for me, I do so depending on God. I say this all the time to persons, like, me don't know how people live without God, Like, I don't know how people, live believing there isn't a God, how people live outside of God. Like, the pressure of life, the craziness of life. I don't know how people manage all of that without God. That's risky. My mental health wouldn't be stable if I was not a Christian. I am 100% sure. Because in my faith is where I get my validation. Because it's that thing no one can take away from me. No one can take away from me. When God come into your life, when you allow God to come into your life and speak into your heart and change you, that is something no one can take away from you. Even if somebody's trying to deceive you, you have to be the one to literally give them that go ahead to believe them so that they can deceive you. I don't know how people go through this life without God. And so rising above the struggles, at least for me, started with God. God changed my life completely. And that is literally your step one. When you allow God to come in your life and you believe his word and walk in his word, then he's going to recondition your mind. And when you accept that reconditioning of your mind, when you realize that, all right, I can't sit down and just play the blame game. I can't sit down and live in misery. I can't sit down and live defeated. I'm going to walk into what the word of God says, which is for me to be prosperous and be in good health, and for me to take my gifts and my talents and use wisdom and apply it accordingly. When you start thinking like that and taking on that mindset and renewing your mind on that every single day, then now you can venture out into seeking these opportunities. Go on Google, research different things. How can I be certified in this? Free certification in that. Even Harvard is giving out certification courses online. And get yourself into the place where you can start networking with like-minded people to help you rise above the struggle. We can't sit down and just ride on the excuses of why not and how and reason why and all of that. We can't allow excuses for tear we down. We have to, guys. You have to work for it. You have to work for it. You can't sit down being defeated all your life. You can't sit down feeling worthless. You can't sit down in defeat. That's not God's purpose for you. That's not God's will for your life. God don't want you to be defeated. He doesn't want you to live a defeated life. God don't want him. You think God up at heaven wanting people them to sit down here beg bread? That's not God's will for your life. That's not God's will for your life. Read the word and you will realize that that's not God's will for your life. So I really hope that this helped to encourage somebody. I don't really go live often because it makes me feel awkward and just weird, but I really, really wanted to just share some form of encouragement with you guys today, and I'm really happy that I got the chance to do so. So if this helped anybody, thanks be to God, all praise to him. And yeah, if you have any more questions, if you have any question you want to ask me or anything about this, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Chanella_cast. That's CHANELLA_cast. That's CAS. And yeah, I'll respond to you guys. But thank you so much for watching, for listening to me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in my vlog, which I'm gonna upload between tomorrow and Wednesday. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully I can go live soon again, because it's not that bad, at least using the phone. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, bye guys.